Wuthering Heights. I enjoy a bit of hating from time to time, okay? However, for this movie adaptation, Wuthering Heights, I don't hate it. Hear me out. I'm not just saying this to be contrarian, and I'll tell you more. As I went to see the movie, actually in the middle of reading this story, and I was really scared that it will affect how I perceive things and make me and like mix in a bad way with my impressions from the book. It didn't. No. And you know what? This story is amazing, and I didn't have to read it in school, so maybe that impacts my perception. It is so engaging. It's so interesting. It made me gasp. In fact, it made me gasp more than the movie did. It's like really every character is bad. There's so much ambiguity. There are these like crazy things happening, plot points, like the things the characters say and do. Jesus. And this is like a 2-century-old book, and it's eliciting this kind of reaction from a modern reader who is on the internet. So if you are like chronically online, if you're suffering from a bit of brain rot lately, I do recommend reading the. I know it sounds intimidating, and it's a huge classic story and all of this, but if you can get past the first couple of chapters, when they go into the storytelling flashback point, and once you get used a bit to the rhythm of this like Victorian way of writing, it gets so interesting and so engaging, and it's so like what. So yeah, I do recommend. It's very gripping, and it's like impressive. It will like leave an impression on you, especially if you haven't read it before, or like me, don't remember anything from the first time that you read it. So yeah, amazing. And then we have the adaptation, which, as I said, I don't like hate. In fact, I think it's cute. I think it's good fun. I had fun watching it. It's beautiful. The obviously Margot Robbie and Jacob Elordi are beautiful. It's another question why they decided to cast two attractive Australians to portray malnourished Victorian village people. But okay. Even as I was in the middle and really enjoying this story, I can't bring myself to hate this adaptation. Wuthering Heights in quotation marks, the quotations being heavyweight lifting champions. I couldn't bring myself to hate it because it didn't actually ruin anything for me, and it's very strange because I expected it would, and it's very strange for me to say that. But I went into it maybe with too many or too little expectations. I don't know. I think generally my faith in like American movies nowadays, like modern stuff that's being produced, is at an all-time low. Um, it's, I think, yeah, I went into it knowing it was gonna be something different. And anybody who went to see the movie and is like disappointed and hating on it because it's so like not a faithful adaptation of the story, I'm sorry, it's your fault. Like, you should have known the moment they announced the casting decision that this was not going to be like Wuthering Heights, adapting it as close as possible to the original. And I mean, if you wanted that or expected that, then I don't know what to tell you. But generally, I think that the hate is split in like two camps of people. On the one hand, there's those who are like, it's not a faithful adaptation. It's like not even Wuthering Heights. It's some kind of like mixture, like weird thing, and it should have been called something else. And it's just fan fiction, and even fan fiction is better. And they just call it something else if it's not Wuthering Heights. And to that, I have to say, if it were called Katie and Bob Fall in Love at the Farmhouse, would you have gone and seen it? Would you have such strong opinions about? Would you be interested even in that story as much as you're interested in this now or this? Like, I think we have to be honest here and say that no, it's doing that maybe on purpose, but it's successful. And if it were just like something else because reasons, because it's misleading people, like I don't think it was actually trying to mislead anyone. I think it was very clear from the very beginning what it was doing. Whether it achieved that or not is a different question, and that's where the second hate group of like opinions are coming from, and it's that it's doing something else, and that's totally fine, whatever, but it's not succeeding even in that because it's not toxic enough and not not horny enough, and just like meh. And I'm leaning towards agreeing with the second group of people, but I don't know. I think in fact it delivered so little so that I cannot actually even be offended. To me, this was like a nice visual spectacle, and I liked all the costumes and I liked all the sets. Oh my god, the sets! Like, yes, give me every other 2/3 of the scenes it's raining or snowing and it's dusk in half of them, like a different costume, and this whole like sequence of the like decadence that they were doing at the Lintons. I love that, like amazing visual stuff and like really beautiful. Really appreciate that. I'm a sucker for beautiful like cinematic cinematography. One thing I'll say though that is like genuine like critique of the movie thing is the editing was too self-indulgent. I think in general the editing nowadays in movies, it doesn't need to be 3 hours long. Come on, like we used to have director's cuts for this purpose. Like you love, I'm not like, just chop it, okay? Just chop it. Like I know I'm not even saying chop the scenes, like keep your darling scenes, even though they could have also been chopped, a bunch of them. I mean like just the stuff in between. This is not like the Driver or Drive from 2011 or whatever. Like just especially at the end when Heathcliff goes to her like deathbed, or she's dead already. Oh my god, like it's not the kind of movie where there is some kind of impartial like third person perspective where it's showing the events but like not having you be emotionally involved. There's like these kinds of ways of portraying a story where the viewer is kind of kept a bit at the distance emotionally from what's happening, whether because it's a documentary or because there's just a stylistic choice and this showing like alienation, all of that stuff. It is not that kind of, it's supposed to bring you along on the emotions and the events and all of this stuff. And at the end, it's the peak moment for them and for him. She dies. Oh my god! And he's like distraught, and it is so like because of the editing, it's so anticlimactic. I don't even know like why. I know what they were trying to do because it goes. He's like rushing on the horse. Oh my god! Like why? First of all, why does this whole scene of her death and like him finding out and going there and all of this stuff, why does it take like 10 or 15 minutes? That's too long. That's too long. Music is like, oh my god, he's gonna go, he's gonna see her. Oh no, well, what will happen? How will he react? And then like the music stops. Has been building up. Then it stops, and then you have these like slow motion shots of him climbing the stairs, walking the hallway, standing. Like, I know, you're hearing this and you're like, or if you've seen the movie already, you like remember what I'm talking about, and it's like, I don't know, tell me if you had a different reaction to this, but to me this was like something's gonna happen, and then okay, now we're waiting for him to in slow motion climb the stairs. Okay, yes, the wall is red or black. Okay, moving on. Yes, slowly approach. Like, come on. I don't know. Maybe I am being too like sensationalistic and wanting this to be kind of more. I get what they were trying to do, but I feel like this whole like it gets quiet and everything is slow motion works for stuff that's epic. That's like, I don't know, Interstellar level in its like magnitude. And I know that the love story for him and for them in general is supposed to feel that way, but it did not translate on screen. And I think the problem is the editing and this trying to like draw it out. You have books, like even just take an average fantasy book, I don't like just anything, any kind of novel, and then you have the climax of the story, and that's like 10 pages out of 200 or 300. That's like 1% max. It's because like even the sentences and the events, like the descriptions, they get like shorter and faster because it's portraying the sense of like, oh my god, it's happening. And it's like that's the reason that it's you don't stop in the middle of the action to describe the color of the wall. Like that would just interrupt the whole flow of things. That's not good writing. And in this case, it's not a matter of writing in the movie, but of editing, because it's just like, no, draw it out, let them feel. I did not feel. I did not feel. Like I was saying, I love being a hater. Even this, which is supposed to be like, I don't know, it was fine, like neutral kind of commentary on it, turns into some kind of complaining, like a rant. So I say that I do agree with the people who are like, yeah, it didn't really succeed in in achieving what I wanted to, which was to be in this like, I don't have anything against, like, this is why it's a classic. It's got like, it can be interpreted, it can be revisited. If you read it now and then again in 5 years, you're going to get something different from it. It's like ambiguous in some respects as well, and it's universally applicable to humans in that everybody can get something from it, right? That's a definition of a classic, and not that it's old and brutish. So like, I think it's totally fine for someone to go there and be like, okay, actually, I am gonna like make it a horny love story. Like, why not? Do it. It was released like around Valentine's Day. That was the whole like setup behind it. I mean, it wasn't claiming to be like a highbrow and like adaptation of the Wuthering Heights, the novel. So, yeah, I think it's fine to reinterpret it to make it like what it was trying to do. The other point is that did it succeed in doing that? And I went into it with like ready to get to be shocked, ready to be like appalled, disgusted, even maybe like, oh gasp, what is happening? And that, I don't know, I think the trailer gave away everything. And that's a problem with like trailers nowadays. Why do they put all the best, first of all the best shots in the trailer, and also they reveal like the plot? Okay, like the plot of Wuthering Heights is like not really something you can spoil nowadays, I guess. But for news stories, they spoil like every important plot point in the trailer already. And it's like, you go in there, the trailer is a promise for something more. Come and see the movie, there's more of this. And then there isn't, because everything was shown in the trailer. I mean, probably the only time when I was actually like disgusted a bit and like shocked and maybe like, oh my god, was when the story with Joseph, right? In the moment when they were using these like farm implements in their BDSM sex scene. And it's because they were farm implements and they were like dirty, I assume, based on the setting. And yeah, that disgusted me a bit. But like, I don't know, maybe that's just me. So in general, all the other sex scenes, everything that was supposed to be like scandalous, oh my god, they were meh. And I think that's not even necessarily a problem of the movie. I think it's a problem of the whole social background behind it, and the fact that it is a US American production, and the whole society, Protestant Puritanistic roots of this, oh, nipples are more triggering than ripping someone's heart out of their chest, and like this unspeakable vileness and baseness and obscenity. I don't know, there's a aversion to bodies and to like human, I don't know, everything has to be so polished and so like in the movie it was like not grimy, but I don't even mean the dirt itself. I mean just there's like trying to like literally keep everything pure. Like even if it's dirty, it's like in a stylized way, in an easily digestible way. It's like, I don't know, if you clean like your dog poo from the asphalt or like cat puke on the carpet, it's not some like there's this specific sensation of like and it's, I think that I don't think it should be in every single scene of this kind of or any kind of movie, but it's missing entirely. It's like opposed to that in general. I think a lot of movies nowadays, they're like so like clean, and it's coming down to the colors, to the choice in costumes, to whether the characters are sweaty or not, whether they're dirty or not, and it goes even to like morality, to like the point of like what are their choices, what are they actually doing, how do they deliver the lines, how do the characters interact with each other, like the looks that they give them. It's all like there's this element of discomfort and like just like visceral sort of disgust and appalledness that's totally removed from it. And I think that having that in small doses or big doses, depending on the scene and the topic and all that, is what adds texture and interest and what makes it engaging and gripping, because it's like real, for the lack of a better word. And that's what makes the book, the story, so timeless and so like, to me, this is what made it so gripping, is because like every character is bad, and the things that they do, they're so like what, and it's, I don't know, it's not afraid of being like, I don't know, controversial or like not palatable. I think, yes, this is a good like everything, especially movies visually and also in terms of plot, is just so palatable. And it's, I think, the fact that this movie is getting such a reaction, and every like thing that happens, it's everyone's screaming online from one opinion to the other opinion, is just driving like modern productions and content in general more and more into this direction, because everything economically is not really good, even though in the stock market it looks that way. So these companies, these huge production companies for movies and even like books and all of that, they want something that is going to be guaranteed to bring them money. And so they avoid topics that would be controversial. They avoid making Catherine and Heathcliff in Wuthering Heights have an actually toxic relationship, or even like not even getting more into that direction than the book. Like not even replicated the toxicity and the meanness and just the yeah acidity that exists in their relationship from the book. Like not even mirroring that. It's much less. It's much more tame and yeah palatable. And it's because if they were too much, if it was too controversial, too like then there's this risk that the people will hate it and make like hateful commentary videos about it. And yeah, there's of course it's not totally directly related, because you know you're making all this, if you really hate the movie and just morally opposed to what it's doing and that it shouldn't be doing unless you have a faithful adaptation of it, like if you're just generally really hateful towards it, then you shouldn't be making videos and posting online about it and talking to your friends about it, because that's just creating more and driving more engagement for it, and more people get curious and go and see it and support it in some way. And it's already, I think, at this point made back its budget. I might be wrong, but yeah, financially you're not harming. In fact, the opposite. There are better stories that are not being funded, but this, which is not that good of a story and whatever, is getting such a huge budget. And that's not, again, it's not a problem of these privileged like movie maker people. It's a problem of the industry in general. And that, as I said, they don't take risks, and the circle is growing smaller and smaller. There's fewer movies being produced, and the like A-list actors all fight for the same roles, and you have such star-packed productions when like 20, 30 years ago you'd have like one big actor per movie, and then the rest would be filled by less popular ones. But that gives more diversity and more like interest in what's happening, and it's not just the same five faces that you see all over. What I will say though is, if you haven't read the book, do read it. I genuinely like very, even like if you are chronically online, your brain rot is getting out of hand, and this might help. In general, if hating on this movie is making you engage with this type like films in general, or with the story more, and get personally invested, then I think it's good. Go ahead, let me know what your biased or unbiased opinions are in the comments about this. What do you like? What do you hate about it? Yeah, I'll see you next time. I do feel a bit self-conscious using a lav mic the way that it's supposed to be used, and not attaching it to like a random thing. Maybe I should do that. I don't know, is that what YouTube people do?